starting your journey to financial freedom. Now. You're listening to the New Investor Podcast.
This is the Young Investor for the New Investor Podcast, and it is Sunday early morning, and I am reflecting on the journey so far. One important aspect that you have probably noted is that my net worth has remained practically unchanged for quite a while, and this is not only subject to the volatility on the market, or volatility is just part of the game and totally acceptable to the investor anyway. However, what will secure a steady net worth growth is that you consistently inject more capital on monthly basis in your investment portfolio. I have not done this in the last 2 months maybe, and I have been indeed injecting some capital and a large part of my earnings into my little startup Investors Media. So when I started the podcast only 6 months ago, I pledged to document my journey to financial freedom, and I saved consistently and re-injected an overwhelming part of my earnings into growing my investment portfolio. And I have done some very interesting moves so far, acquired pieces of companies I felt connected to, have not sold any of my stocks since, and have emerged well with a double-digit growth in my gains this year. This is, of course, so far as anything can happen. So I'm not sure how much more I can do right now to convince you to start your journey or to convince you to stay invested for the long term. Since I have been talking about this over and over again, my only wish now is that you have indeed started and that it already made you a happier person. If this podcast has even contributed to 1% of your happiness because of the actions you have undertaken as a result of sparing your valuable time, then it deserves to exist in perpetuity. So 6.5 months ago, Investors Media did not exist. The podcast did not exist. I had written no book. I had no presence on social media. I had not worked with any talented people which are now helping me through that venture, and I was just focusing on building wealth on my own in my little corner, and that you can very well do regardless of what happens with anything you do on the side. At least you're still building wealth in a net worth, and that is a fact. However, starting a podcast, and as I told you before, everyone should have a podcast as it is a great source of self-support, holds you accountable to others and to your words. That actually keeps you in your growth zone. And starting a podcast and for it to develop into a small media company that you're trying to build is what I am currently reflecting about. So you have to acknowledge that every idea that you have and that you have started to execute must continuously germ into your mind. I was consistently and constantly asking myself, what is the next level to this idea? What is the next level after writing your first book? What is the next level once you build a presence online? What is the next level to try to cover your costs? Every idea has a next level. It is called deep diving. To be successful, I have a feeling that I must never stop deep diving in each of my enterprise. Even if my company or side projects is tiny, that I am the executive group of one, even if I make no money and that it is all expenses, even if it disrupts my investing strategy, even if I suddenly stopped growing my net worth, it does not matter, because the mindset of the investor is focused on the long term and the future. And this is crucial here, because as long as you do things in the hope of getting it all instantly, you will get tired fast and it will never deliver right away anyway. So you will give up thinking it doesn't work, it's a bad idea, etc. So your company or idea is already born dead. However, taking your ideas and company as a life form and on its own that needs time to grow, to learn, to become healthy and strong because of you. I truly believe that this is the way to see the world, that you are the one actually affecting your ecosystem that will ultimately lead you to formidable things. And I have so many interesting things I'm working on at the moment, and I can't wait to share them with you. And I trust that in the future we will all be able to share this all together and support each other other's success. And that is my dream, and I will ensure this happens through my current actions and everything I'm trying to put in place today for tomorrow. So I wish you a happy and wonderful Sunday. Be well. Thank you for listening to the podcast, and I really hope that it brings you some additional support on your own journey towards financial freedom. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button to never miss an episode, and looking forward to your DM and follow on Instagram at New Investor Podcast. In the meantime, stay invested, be patient, and keep playing the long-term game.
The podcast you just heard was made using Anchor. Ever thought about making your own podcast? Anchor makes it really easy for anyone to get started. It's a one-stop shop for recording, hosting, and distributing podcasts. Best of all, it's 100% free. Sign up now at anchor.fm/new. That's anchor.fm/new to get started.